Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and today I have a quick video addressing what happens to old legendary items in the Lord of the Rings Online. So first off, any source of old LIs will no longer give those LIs, so there will be no new way to get old legendary items in the game. I will also point out this means any cosmetics used through various LIs like different level ranges and different ages will be unacquirable after this patch. So if you really want a cosmetic of an old LI, I recommend trying to get that now. It has not been announced if old LI skins will be available at a later date, but personally I suspect that eventually they will be in the game somehow. So yes, while there will be no ways to acquire old LIs, what will happen to old LIs that you already have? Well, you will not be able to advance or progress them in any way. If this functions as described by SSG, that means you cannot change anything or upgrade anything on your old LIs. That means no scrolls, no crystals, no reforging, no identifying, no titles, no relic changes, and nothing like that. So if you want to make any progress on your old LIs, you need to do it before the update again coming Wednesday, October 13th, because I don't think I mentioned that yet. Having said all that about everything with your old LIs being frozen as far as their progress goes, they will still function as before, but you just can't change anything about them. How this will actually work after the patch has not been 100% described by SSG. The best and latest info we have available is a comment from Rainania, the producer, who said that he doesn't think you will be able to equip and unequip LIs that you have not ever actually used before. Other comments made earlier back in time, however, indicate you still can equip and unequip LIs that you at least have already identified and have slotted in your LI panel. I will point out in the last beta round, you could still equip and unequip old LIs that you already had identified, but it has been confirmed, actually multiple times I think, that many functions of the last beta will be disabled come patch day on Wednesday. So unfortunately, I don't have the perfect answer here, but these are the full details of what has been said by SSG at this point. To me, it is looking like old LIs you are using right now, you will still be able to use them. They are still going to be usable, but not progressible. But you will likely want to use the new stuff anyway, especially come Gundabad or for characters below the level cap. So all the old LIs will be naturally phased out over time, it seems. So that is the deal with regular legendary items, the old ones, but also in the new LI system, there is actually no replacement for Bridle. So what about those? Well, unfortunately, those will suffer the same fate as all other old LIs. No progression, no reforging, no identifying, anything like that. And there is an important note on the identification because you have to identify an LI to use it, so you won't actually be able to equip any new bridles because you can't identify this. So while there have been very few comments about what happens to old bridles, we know all the old LIs are going away and you can't get them. Haven't actually had confirmation on that with old bridles. So if SSG actually forgets to remove all these old bridles, they will actually be completely useless after the patch if you acquire them after the patch, that is. That said, if you already have a bridle, they will still function after the patch as they do right now before the patch. So if you plan on doing any mounted combat, make sure you have your bridle worked out, especially considering these have a major impact on the damage contribution from Fury, which is just very important overall for your mounted damage while leveling. Otherwise, if you're not up to mounted combat yet or just unable to do that preparation process, unfortunately, you're kind of out of luck. SSG does plan to work on bridles, but it sounds like it will be after Gundabad. And just as a message I have to anybody in this situation, all I can say is good luck, and I hope you are able to get through it without much problem. But anyway, that is what is happening to old legendary items. One good bit of news is that there is an appraisal process where you can acquire new currency based on your old LIs. Essentially, you can get a head start in the new system using your old LIs that you already have slotted in your legendary items panel. Now, it does appear that any old LIs you happen to have that are just in your inventory, may be identified, but not slotted, or just unidentified LIs, will not be able to take advantage of the appraisal system. I did make a whole video dedicated to this that I will link below, but in short, in the legendary items panel, each LI will have an appraise button on the bottom right, and by appraising your old LI, you will get some new LI currency, including ancient scripts, which are account bound, and they have a very low currency cap of 10,000. I know that sounds like a lot, but in the system, it's kind of low. Then you also get the tracery barter currency, not actual traceries. And finally, you will also get some enhancement runes to level your traceries. And at this point in the video, we have covered all the details on the old LIs, and we are ready for the viewer Q&A. So thanks to everyone that commented with questions, and let's get to them. First, from Urgatorb 8. They are wondering if experience runes will have a place in the new system, and they actually will, but not immediately. The XP runes, also known as heritage runes, those will be used for the reward track, which is either coming with Gundabad or after Gundabad. Once again, mixed signals there on when it actually is coming, but they will be useful and definitely are worth keeping and saving for the new system. I have personally been hoarding them ever since this detail was let out by SSG. Also, sorry if I got caught off the camera there with this new setup, but next up from ReRanger21, they said that reforging will no longer be available, but will they continue to be able to use Scrolls of Empowerments on imbued LIs? And no, you will not, and that includes everything else. You won't be able to do anything because their progress is frozen and everything is locked. Moving on, how long should I keep old LIs after switching them out from the Yolt Man? I personally plan to at least keep my imbued allies, my well-progressed allies, but otherwise I believe you are just free to toss them. I don't think there is anything you can extract from them after the initial appraisal process. That said, there is probably no hurry to go ahead and destroy them unless you're really dire on storage space, so I plan to just go ahead and chunk mine in my storage or something in my vault so they can be out of my way, but just in case I ever want them or even the skin for them, I will have that available. I do have a note on old LI resources, things like Scrolls of Empowerment, Starlight Crystals, anything like that, I would recommend not getting rid of because Standing Stone Games has said that they plan to introduce some sort of barter or some sort of appraisal-like system where you can at least get some new currency from those old resources, so I personally do recommend holding onto those and essentially just saving them up and keeping them stored and not really being in a hurry to get rid of anything old, just in case things do change and you are able to get use out of them. Personally, my strategy is just that. I am not using anything before the patch besides leveling a few LIs to 60 as I mentioned in my preparation video, and otherwise I'm just saving every single resource I have in the hopes that they will eventually be able to get me some use, some new currency or something when they finally introduce this conversion. Moving on from Suit Gorland, they are asking, does it matter what the level of the item is when you convert it over, or does it only matter what level you are? And it only matters what level your character is, and as you can see, I posted a reply with a link to a video. That is my preparation video, which goes into all the details on that. Moving on, the last question we have is from Captain Fugazi, who is asking about relics and essences. Well, essences are actually completely unrelated to legendary items in that they go into gear pieces and the such, so that will remain the same. Nothing about essences is changing. But on the note of relics, all of your relic progress will be frozen, so you can't change out relics in your slotted LIs. That said, Raininia, the producer, has commented that he thinks you will be able to still deconstruct at least old LI boxes and the such, which, I don't know, that sounds kind of pointless to me if you can't actually do anything with those relics, so I guess that's something we will have to wait to actually see in the update. It's one of the many things of incomplete information given by SSG and things you can't really test out on the beta. So that is it for the Q&A from viewers. Thank you everyone who commented questions. I know it was a little bit short notice till getting to this video, but it was an idea I had pretty late in the preparation process here. Moving on, I do have to say I wish it weren't the case, but it seems to me there's a bit of a mess with scattered information basically from SSG and a lack of any official articles or developer posts going into full details on all these questions. So much of the information of the LI revamp and conversion from the old to the new has been left to players to discover, which is based on the beta server, and the beta server has limited runtime for one. Personally, I cannot really get on it much because it's only available on weekdays, not on weekends, which it'd be really nice if betas actually ran through weekends. I feel like that would be true for a lot of other people who want to test things but can't on weekdays. But that note aside, that is totally unrelated. Things in betas have limited runtime, as I mentioned, and things can and do change from betas to live patches. Even the last beta round to the live patch, it has already been said multiple times that things that worked in that beta for old LIs won't work after this live patch. Also, I forgot to change my camera over, so let's go ahead and get back to normal. And moving on, we are at one of the frustrating parts of the LI system, and everyone is basically making plans and preparing based on how things worked in the beta, and it is even entirely possible that the appraisal value and new currency you get from that will be adjusted for the live patch, but we just simply don't know at this point. And of course, with the patch being in 3 days, we don't have time to prepare for anything different. So the feeling I get from all this is that Standing Stone Games is actually just rushing to release the revamp and even the brawler it's coming in the same patch as early as possible, which is causing a lack of assurance in how things will work and what players actually need to do to get ready. And my personal opinion on all this in the LI situation is that I am happy with the LI revamp and having it earlier rather than later. But I would personally prefer more official information and just confirmation on how things will work after the patch and what exactly will be different from, say, the last beta 2 release. We will, of course, get full patch notes on Tuesday as confirmed by the producer, so perhaps this could be like an article of redemption for SSG. But after the first beta round, this is going on a little bit of a tangent, I have honestly been quite disinterested in new LIs, which can be seen by a lack of videos on the topic until relatively recently. With the new system, I think there are better fundamentals of the system which make me, from a baseline level, like the new system more than the old system, but I really feel like there's so far been a lot of missed opportunities, and the more and more details and changes we saw throughout the beta rounds, the more and more I have started to actually not like the details on how the new system works. And the reality is, I am not quite motivated to make content on something that annoys me rather than excites me, which is a big reason why my big picture video actually didn't cover all these details, because they're just annoying and things I don't like. But anyway, that aside, I still felt it was important to make these past couple videos that I have to help y'all get ready for the LI revamp. I feel like there are going to be a lot of players who log in like Wednesday or even well after the patch, and people who don't keep up with the game, and maybe they just played the game and they won't know what will hit them essentially with their LIs and their character after the revamp. So just like I hope this video was helpful for you all who do keep up with these things, I hope we can also, as like a community, help players who may be stuck in that situation. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something useful, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more or becoming a channel member to support the content, and thanks for watching, everyone.